question. We are not live streamed, but this is being recorded and will be replayed on YouTube, and we'll send out the link in Constant Contact. So you can see that some of us up here have on masks. I took mine off, and when you're over here by yourself, you want to take your mask off, it's okay, but we are on masks in the health center. It's absolutely mandatory for staff. We should just make sure that the signs are adequate, Jason and Lindsay, when we are on masks, but we have to be on masks for 2 weeks after any kind of a new diagnosis of flu, COVID, RSV. And we had that outbreak of flu in December, and then we had the most recent positive case of flu in the health center on January 13th. So that reset the clock. So that's why we have masks on. No one's going to kick you out if you go without a mask, but technically we are on masks. It's really mostly applicable for staff, but we are suggesting that if we're on masks that everybody should be on masks just for your own health, but not the end of the world. All right, we have a lot to get to today. I'm going to let Phil start since he's sitting there, and then we'll go down the line. We do have the mic too for questions.
Hello, everybody. Neil Cavallo, Director of Dining. How are you? I've got one pretty important piece of information I want to share with everybody today. Tanya, can you come up here? So, starting in February, we will have Tanya Lopez, our registered dietitian, be available to all independent living residents on Fridays, every Friday of every week, for consults, for nutritional information. I'll let her get into a little bit more of what she will be able to provide to everybody. But starting February 6th, Tanya will be in the pub from 9 o'clock till 1 o'clock with a little table set up. And it's kind of an open door. Come in, talk to her, ask her questions, see what kind of a program that we're going to be offering for independent living. We do have some paperwork that is being built out that we'll be able to hand to people that'll have answers for everything. So it's a work in progress. We don't have everything set in stone yet. However, Friday mornings, Tanya will have open door office hours from 9 until 10. That'll be for anybody that hasn't set up a one-on-one consult with her, just wants to stop in, say hi, have a question. We will be doing nutritional counseling and Aging Well in Nutrition. It's two different programs. The Aging Well in Nutrition will be a monthly, all-encompassing event that people will be able to come to in a group setting, and then the nutritional counseling will be one-on-one. So you'll be able to set up times and dates to be able to do that with her. She will be doing her one-on-ones up here in her office, which is on this floor, about halfway down the hallway, until we find a more permanent solution for that. But she has a space, so we're going to be using it for that. Every month, we will have a different theme, so to speak, and Tanya will be putting out a column in the newsletter monthly to describe what that month education will be. At the end of the month, that's when we will get together with the Aging Well in Nutrition to go over the month of nutritional guidelines that is pertinent to the month topic. Just a couple of ideas: January, Healthy Weight Week; February, American Health Month; March, National Nutrition Month, so on and so forth. Again, it's a work in progress, but we're very excited to introduce Tanya to the independent living residents as a registered dietitian. So again, it starts in February. Anything you want to share now, or just come and see me on the 6th?
Sure, I'll just say
Thank you. I look forward to being more encompassing in our community here. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of residents I've seen in their apartments for one-on-ones, and that's always helpful in the sense that you can show me what you have in your fridge, what you have in your cabinets. I look forward to the open office hours, because sometimes people just have a quick question that they have, or a recommendation they may want that they heard from their doctor. So I look forward to that. And also using an annual health calendar per se. So with the next month, February being American Heart Month, I will have a presentation here in the Great Room on February 23rd, I believe at 11 a.m. So look forward to it. Thank you. Thanks so much.
And I can just clarify for those that might be asking, Tanya was not full-time with us, so we're increasing this as a service to the residents, and obviously we were able to fit that into the 2026 budget, so welcome.
Thank you.
That was really the only important piece that I wanted to share with everybody. So at that, I will hand it off to Jason. I know he's got a lot to talk about.
Say the time again on Friday.
9 to 1 in the pub.
Hello, Jason Irish. Okay. So the first thing I'll talk about, which Tom is going to talk about as well, is the flex space and the great room. So obviously we're all here now in the great room. We've started to add more activities in the great room. There was a snafu the other night, on Monday night, for Peter Brown's Wanderlust Rhythms, which we are going to get right. We're learning as we go. We generally haven't had much to do here in the great room late at night, and we're working through the kinks on that. So we're gonna have to staff up in certain areas. We're just gonna figure it out as we go. I want to apologize here publicly to Peter Brown and to any residents that attended that night. It was a snafu on our part, and we're gonna get it right moving forward. Talking about the great room, over the rest of the month, we've got, obviously we're here now, we've got the Starlight Trio here in the great room on Friday at 2:45, which is a reschedule from a couple weeks ago. Also, there's Dulcimers and Pondeliers actually restarts next Monday afternoon here in the great room. Thursday movies. Next Saturday, though, we have Mozart Fest, which is here in the great room. And we're gonna make sure, that goes off without a hitch. Carrie will be here that day, and we'll make sure it's set. Again, we're trying to get everything right. We're learning as we go. We're welcoming all feedback from residents. This includes the flex space downstairs. We just kind of got that off the ground late last week. We had a couple events there on Thursday and Friday, actually Friday. So any feedback, please bring it our way. Again, Tom is gonna talk about it because we know there was some questions about air circulation. I'm not gonna touch that. Okay, the pool. Most of you know the pool is going offline this upcoming Monday. We had residents today go with Matt over to SUNY New Paltz to assess kind of the conditions at SUNY New Paltz, see what it was going to be like. We've talked about this before. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. we have the pool at SUNY New Paltz. We are requesting that anyone that wants to go between that time, we're going to leave Woodland Pond here at 8:30 every morning, not Saturday and Sunday. Leave at 8:30, return to Woodland Pond at 10:30. Any resident that wants to go, either for lap swimming or exercise, sign up with the concierge desk. We'll let SUNY New Paltz know. If we don't have anyone sign up, we're going to let them know we don't have anyone coming. They don't have to schedule a lifeguard, and we won't go that day. But we want sign-ups. Again, we had a group go today, so anyone inquiring, just reach out to Matt. We're hoping that everyone continues to swim, and SUNY New Paltz has been more than happy to help us out. Again, that starts this upcoming Monday. Sign up, concierge. Mass notification. So I haven't even told Michelle this yet, but our new mass notification system is live. I tested it on my own phone actually yesterday morning. We've got all of the contacts, which would be residents, staff, family members. We have all the contacts built out in the system. I can send a test message out, which I plan to do tomorrow or Friday. I'm gonna send it out to every single contact and request feedback. So keep an eye out for that. It's gonna come through in a different way that we haven't seen before because it's coming from Go Icon. It's gonna go to your email, it's gonna go to your cell phones, it's gonna go to your home phones, text message. Be on the lookout for that. Give us feedback, send me an email, contact the concierge desk, let us know what you wanna keep, what you don't wanna keep, what worked, what didn't. Again, that test message will go out either tomorrow or Friday. I just have to work out a few more kinks. Talked about that. All right, here's one. Dog walkers. This is not for outside dog walkers. Anybody with a pet on property that walks their dog outside that doesn't want to walk on the sidewalk because of the salt or sand or snow, be aware of the residents that have windows on the ground floor. We've had a few residents say, I don't know if it's someone coming in to break in my apartment, they see the footprints in the snow. Just be cautious, just for not just for security purposes, but for privacy purposes. Just be cautious where you're walking your dog. You know, you don't know if someone is in their bedroom. I'm not gonna get into that. EV charging stations. Anybody with an EV charger, I'm gonna say a couple things here. One of the charging stations is currently offline because I assume a plow hit it and kind of severed the cord. Sue Orkowski was the first person to report that to me. I have a quote for a new cord. They're not cheap. It's like $2,000 for a cord. I'm just saying that because I want anyone with an EV charger just to be responsible for looping it back up, making sure it's secure. Also, I dealt with this yesterday. The connectors, if anyone sees it, if you're walking too, pick it up. A connector was buried in the snow. I took it out. Snow was caked in it. It took me probably 20 minutes to use my key to dig all the snow out of it because you can't put it into a car. We're down to 3 charging stations right now. We're just down to 3. So we just need to be cautious about wrapping it up, making sure there's not snow. There is a cap you can put back on it. Just be cautious of that. Okay, Sunday, this might come up again too. Sunday we're expecting a big snowstorm. For transportation this past weekend, we had to cancel transportation on Saturday due to snow. This upcoming Sunday, it looks like we're most likely going to cancel transportation. We have a trip to the Howland. Anybody that's signed up, just know that we've already communicated with the Howland. We're going to get a credit for the tickets, but we're probably going to get ahead of it and cancel all transportation for Sunday now, if anybody was wondering. Okay. I'm going to talk about 2 more things and then I'm going to pass it on. While we're talking about transportation, I've mentioned this before. This is just a little tidbit. When you sign up, or if you want to go out shopping, please sign up with the desk. If nobody signs up, we cancel the driver. So we just need people signing up for shopping on Saturdays and Wednesdays. Another thing that has come up, the new ancillary fee charge went out, and on there was something about valet parking or parking your vehicle or moving your vehicle. During this time with our renovation, we've waived those. So if anybody was wondering whether or not we're charging for valet, we are not. If you need your car moved for any reason, we are not charging for that as well. We know the parking lot situation, everybody knows it, so we're doing what we can to help during the renovation. The last thing I want to talk about is any group, committee, resident that wants to book a speaker, it has to go through Carrie, including performances. If you're looking to bring a performance in or book a speaker or anything that's outside of our normal calendar, go to Carrie first. If it warrants going to the activities committee, we'll do that, but Carrie needs to know everything before anything is booked or committed to by any resident, including staff. Everything has to go through Carrie, so we make sure we have the space, make sure we can accommodate it. Carrie just needs to know. Any questions on that, you can ask either myself or Carrie. Last one. And then I'm done. So this is kind of in line with what I just said, and there's been some miscommunication or other information out there. The benefit fund has agreed to give us a 6-month trial to bring in speakers as part of our guest lecture series. They've given us $2,500 for 6 months, which breaks down to about $416 a month approximately. We've said, and this was through some of the other people that we talked to about the guest lecture series, we've said that the honorarium that we're going to pay to some of these speakers that's part of the guest lecture series will be $200. That gives us a little bit of wiggle room to add other speakers, but again, those speakers have to go through Carrie for us to make sure that it goes to the benefit fund and gets approved by the benefit fund. There's other types of speakers or events that will not go through the benefit fund. I've got a whole list. Carrie wanted me to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But if there's questions, you can talk to Carrie or myself. There's just different things that happen for different reasons when it's about the lectures and the lecture series. So just know, talk to Carrie, talk to myself, we'll give you information. But the guest lecture series specifically is going through the benefit fund. All other speakers, we have wiggle room, but we need to be able to clarify whether or not it will work with that. Questions?
Jason, can you please explain what days for transportation would, say, going to the New Paltz lab, going to Highland, or going to New Paltz Doctors, when do they fall into what day that you're not paying extra for it?
So our schedule breaks down to Sunday church, Monday Highland, Poughkeepsie, Tuesday Kingston, Wednesday New Paltz, Thursday and Friday are both Highland and Poughkeepsie days, and then Saturday's just New Paltz shopping. So for New Paltz, it really depends. I mean, I'm not gonna say we make it up as we go, but I kind of do. If it's built into the schedule, if someone has an appointment in New Paltz and we're already departing, sometimes we'll tell a resident, we're not gonna charge you because we're already leaving at that time. You may have to wait an hour or so for a pickup if we're going somewhere else. If you want, try to schedule it for a Wednesday. If it's in New Paltz, Highland is Monday, Thursday, and Friday. The New Paltz ones are tough because sometimes we could drop you off, but then you may be waiting a little while for a pickup. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
I don't know if it is or not, but we can email.
Yes, the dates are in the handbook of which
Yeah,
goes to which.
yeah.
Other questions for Jason? One thing I didn't talk to you about, but I want to announce here, we're gonna schedule tours of the flex space. Because I think there's maybe not a lot of people in this room because you've made your way here, but there seems to be a lot of people that have trepidation about going into the basement and really have no idea where they're going. So we're gonna pick a time, and for every day, Monday through Friday, maybe next week, like 11 o'clock or something, we're gonna meet in the lobby, and then we're gonna take you down to the basement. We'll tour the offices too. They can tour the basement, and then they'll tour you through all the offices, so you can see where Bridget and HR are. You can see where Liz and Annika are gonna be when they're not in your apartments, because they each have locations where they're going to be, some in the lobby area, some in the basement. You'll figure out where Cam and I are gonna be, where Jason's sitting. We'll go to the flex space, finance, Carrie. So we will do those tours, so look for those next week. We'll put them in the Chanticleer, and we'll just do a blitz next week so that everybody can kind of see where you go, where the bathroom is, so that we can really get people comfortable coming down to the lower level, because we're gonna be spending a lot of time down there. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, who's next, Jason?
Thank you. Shannon.
Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Spatoro, the Director of Marketing. As many of you know, our office has relocated as well. We are in one of the apartments in the central wing, number 321, so main floor of the central wing. If you want to come by and check us out, please do. If the door is shut, that means we have prospective residents inside, so please kindly come when the door is open. We do leave it open when there are no meetings going on. So you're welcome to come take a look. We are obviously still doing tours and bringing new people in through all of our renovations. It's been a little bit unique and a new process, and we're adjusting as we go. And just wanted to say thank you for all of you who have still helped us out with tours, let us show your apartments, meet with new people coming in for lunch or to conversate. We really do appreciate that. It helps them out a lot. We ended the year with a full house, and we brought in 39 new residents in 2025. So, and the wait list continues to grow. So we're in good shape there. That's really all I have for right now. Is there any questions for me?
Thanks. I've been wondering if, has it been an issue for people that are on the waiting list for a while, that by the time their apartment becomes available, that they no longer qualify for independent living? Has that been an issue at all?
It has come up, yes, absolutely. We screen everyone initially when they're joining the wait list, so we know that if they were moving in tomorrow, they would be eligible at this point. We do let people know at that time if there are some things that could be questionable, so that way they know not to wait too long. But we do have to screen them again before they're allowed to become a resident and sign a contract, and there are some people that have, disqualified.
Okay, thank you.
So specifically to that, the requirement now stands that if you are sitting on the waiting list and you have been pre-qualified, within 30 days of physically moving into your new home, you have to go back to your doctor, you have to interview again, we have to get updated history and physical, labs. We basically do the full review right before you come in. So that gets a little stressful, especially in December when we had 8 closings.
10.
10 closings. All right, who's next?
That's it?
And great job to Shannon and the marketing team, as always.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Roberts. I'm the Director of Capital Projects and Campus Development. Things are moving pretty quickly. We got the 3 additions outside, and of course, as you will have seen in the community building, we're taking over more and more real estate to do the renovations inside. So what we will see is, well, the sort of lead item for next week is on Monday, the library door will be closed as an exit to the outside. And so I know that's a disruptive to a lot of people, especially if you park out in front of the health centre there. But it's necessary. We think that's going to be for 4 weeks. There's a good chance it'll be quicker than that, but we're saying no more than 4 weeks. I'll also go through that in my talk tomorrow, just so that you understand, the parking. But essentially, you will need to come through the main entrance to the community building and not use that side door adjacent to the library. Of course, next week, Jason mentioned about the swimming pool from Monday, in terms of the building, that corridor from the swimming pool onwards will be closed. So that kind of makes a clean break in terms of where the construction will be happening. And we will start to empty the swimming pool on Monday. It takes a couple of days, but even while they're emptying the pool, they'll start to be doing the work in there, because we want to keep that to a tight schedule as well. Also next week, what you'll see is some work in the lobby, because we are going to take over the admin area and concierge for the renovation, more temporary walls. The actual concierge desk will be moved by our team internally. We moved forward of where it is at the moment so that they can do the new construction behind that. So you'll start to see some of that activity in the main lobby, but the concierge desk it'll be displaced for a couple of days, but then it will be in its new location in front of where it is at the moment, so you'll be able to access all the normal things that you do at concierge in that location. And then a couple of things here I wanted to talk about. We've had some residents talk about seeing some of the construction workers vaping on the property. If you see that, give me a call straight away. I'll take care of it. The best way to prevent this, we have no tolerance for this, is to get onto our construction manager straight away, handle it, and make sure that it doesn't get repeated. So and if there's anything else like that you're concerned about, please do not hesitate to call me and our construction manager. They can't be everywhere all the time, but they are tremendously responsive when we can tell them, we've had, for example, we don't allow the construction vehicles to go down George Danskin into the adjoining neighbourhood. We don't want them to go that way, so those neighbours actually advise us, and we're able to say, look, we don't want those construction vehicles there, we take care of it. So same with the vaping, let us know and then we can take care of it. Lots to see outside. Just a reminder again, stand back from the windows. There are some very large pieces of equipment out there. We don't want, an accident where you're too close to the window and something hits the window, for example. But plenty to see, and incredibly, they will be pouring footings in the next couple of days, even with this really cold weather. It's quite extraordinary. I won't say things go seamlessly. There are a lot of little issues that happen on the construction site. You don't get to see the ramifications of them because they get figured out. But even with this cold weather, the snow that we've had, it holds us up a little bit. But by and large, they have heating blankets and heaters out there in the foundation so that they can keep going even with this cold weather and the snowy weather. It's quite extraordinary. It's great effort on behalf of our construction manager. I will say that last night we had our first meeting for the planning board for the satellite. We presented a really comprehensive background to the design and process of how we got to where we are with the design, and I think we were commended on the thoroughness of our presentation. I think we put a couple of planning board members to sleep or close to it, but by and large it went very well. I feel very confident in our process and the information that we put together. We did have some pushback from residents in the neighbouring community, not unexpected at all, and we'll get more of that, more comments, and we'll listen to those comments and incorporate those as much as we can. Any questions?
What you're referring to as the library door, of course, is an emergency exit, including for people who are right now in what used to be the meditation room, now is the finance office, and residents in AL who live down at that end of that hallway. So where do they go when there's an emergency?
Okay, so we'll walk through this in tomorrow's talk, but that's a really good question. It is an emergency exit to the outside. And so what Tom has put together, he's done a lot of work on this, put together a safety plan. And so what will happen is for every shift, there will be a staff member assigned to that location. The strategy is to move people from the health center. If you're coming down from AL, which is a great example, you come down those steps, go inward and to the left, so you're going through the double doors into IL. IL is a separate building. It has those fire doors for a reason. And so once you are egressing out of the health center into IL, you're in a safe place because that is a separate building separated by a firewall and the fire doors. And so that's the strategy that we'll have. And as I say, we have a safety plan in place so that there's no confusion. So there'll be a staff member there to direct people in the right direction to safety.
And I may have missed it, but you said when Tom put it together that he talked to the building inspector and the architects.
That's absolutely true. Yep.
And the fire department.
And
And
the fire department.
Yeah.
So the fire department, the building inspector, and the architects have all blessed the alternative plan. Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna go back to the lobby. Are we still gonna have the fireplace there in that same spot when you're all finished with the rooms, or is that gonna be moved?
Temporarily, I think it's going to be a little hard to have furniture while we're doing the build out, so I'm not exactly sure what that furniture layout looks for like the next 4 to 6 months, but eventually that fireplace will remain. Within the finished design, that fireplace stays. We know it's one of the best seats in the house.
A nice feature.
Yes. And it's the most comfortable chairs there too. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, so we're keeping that fireplace and the library, we're adding another stone fireplace in the wellness lounge, which will be at the end of the wellness wing.
Dave, not a question, but a comment. I was one of several people who watched your, I want to say the performance, your presentation last night. I thought you were thorough and professional, as was the rest of the team. I think you left very, very few questions unanswered, and also gave some expectation of what we could, us and the community could look forward to. But one thing I'd like to hear, again, is what is the New Paltz website that we can access the documents that were referred to last night, the whole submission? I've never quite understood what that is, or I don't hear it correctly.
Well, it's called Municalab. You can access it through the Village Planning Board page.
Municalab.
And it's a online platform that is being universally adopted in order for it just makes it much easier for the public to have access to all the documents. My own town, on the planning board in my own town, Tom's on his planning board in his town. Actually, I don't know if they use Municil. They don't. They're old school. But everyone is shifting over this, and it's much easier because then the public doesn't have to foil for information. We can send out a link to everyone so that it's easy to get access to that. But it's great because you see all the documentation there in full. And thanks for your comment. I appreciate that. It's called Municalab. That's the online platform, but you access it through the town, through the village planning board. They have a link there to all the documents.
We'll include it in the Chanticleer on Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else for Dave? Thanks, Dave.
Right.
Great job.
Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Terrell Fairley, Director of IT and Cybersecurity here at Woodland Pond. Really quick, I do have 2 points to talk about, but I just want to kind of reiterate the purpose of the technical department here at Woodland Pond. So if anybody has any issues or questions with their technology, whether it's related to their phones, whether it's their landline phone or their cell phone, internet connectivity, issues with their TVs, anything technology related, you can reach out to us, okay? The easiest way to do that is to contact the concierge desk, and they can open up a work request for you, okay? The 2 points that I wanted to talk about, we have officially instated our Tech Talk program, okay? So this is gonna be bi-monthly. We will have Tech Talks, and they will be around subjects, so similar to what we did with Sawyer Bank or BraveNet, so we'll do similar talks to that, and that's what I'm referring to with the Tech Talk. So be on the lookout for that. The next thing is cybersecurity, which affects everybody, okay? So we still continue to see lots of, I don't want to call them attacks, but that's essentially what they are. 2 of the biggest ways that folks like yourself and myself get compromised is by spam emails, which we all see, okay? They can be nefariously related, so watch out for those spam emails. And the biggest thing in the spam email is a link, okay? So the bad guy will include, they call them hyperlinks, in an email to you, okay? If it is a nefarious type of email, a spam email with ill intent, that link will be malicious. So when you click on that link, it's kind of game over at that point, okay? So be very cautious when you receive emails. If they do include a link in the body of the email, pay attention to that, okay? We also get unsolicited text messages, kind of in the same form. The bad guy will include a link in that unsolicited text message. Watch out for that and be cognizant, okay? When you receive, typically they're gonna come from a number that you don't know, okay? So just be aware of that. And scareware screens. So lots of folks here have probably seen these in the past. These are pop-up screens that pop up on your computer, whether it's a Macintosh or a standard Windows PC. They will pop up on the screen, and they do look very intimidating. And they come with a audible message as well, so which kind of indicates that your computer's been compromised in some form. Okay, so when you see that, the best thing to do, so they will include a telephone number on there, and it will come across and be presented to you on the screen as it's tech support telling you you have a problem with your computer, okay? If you see that, reach out to myself or Cameron or the concierge desk, and we can help you out with that, okay? But that's one of the scariest things that we've been seeing, because as soon as you get on the call with the number that's printed on the screen for you, it's a 1-800 number, you're on the phone with the bad guy at that point. Okay, so just be aware of that. When you see it, reach out to us and we can help you folks through that, okay? Any questions about that?
Yeah,
My understanding is when something like that comes on the screen, you turn off the computer.
That is 99% of the time, that is kind of the fix for it, okay? When the PC turns back on, the screen is gone. There are some instances where that's not the case, but yes,
But
absolutely.
nevertheless, I think you should turn the computer off.
That is a first step that I would take, would be to turn the PC off.
Yeah.
Hi, I've been getting emails from Spectrum saying that I should sign up for Peacock or Disney or something like that. But I don't have a subscription to Spectrum anymore. I simply download whatever I want through my Wi-Fi connection and stream that. Is that a scam or is that legit?
So that's difficult, and every email kind of has to be, scrutinized to determine that, okay? So it's difficult to just give a blanket statement to say, yes, any Spectrum email is, kind of a spam email. We would have to take a look at that on an individual basis.
okay, thank you.
She could unsubscribe. The thing about the unsubscribing, okay, and this has kind of been my train of thought for a long time, if you receive an email that you no longer want to receive, okay, or an email that you haven't gotten before, but you don't want to get these any longer. A lot of times there's an unsubscribe link at the bottom. Keep in mind that when you click the unsubscribe link, you're telling somebody that there's somebody at the other end of the keyboard. Okay, so you're notifying them that yes, this is an active account. So I like to think about that as well. Just keep that in mind.
So what do you do when you get them?
The unsubscribe, yeah, so typically I won't hit the unsubscribe link. What I'll do is I'll add that message as a spam message in my email platform. Okay, so that any future emails from that address would go into that spam folder.
Some of these things Terrell can cover in his tech talks too, when he schedules them.
And for people who aren't necessarily savvy, it doesn't have to say link. Anything that you can click on can be a link underneath that.
That's a good point.
So it's not anything that you know is a link, it's anything that you click on.
Right, typically the links,
Problem.
the links are typically have an underscore, they're underlined, okay?
Or they're in color.
Or they're in color.
They're in a
They could be
box.
blue. So if you take your pointer, your mouse, okay, and you hover over what is potentially a link, you'll see the pointer will change to a finger. Or you'll see some type of visual indicator that that is in fact a link and not a picture of some type. Okay? Yakov?
Terrell, I got a call from my bank asking me if I authorized $1,400 in electronics from Amazon. And they said they were very worried, and do I authorize that? And I said, I'll get back to you. I hung up, I called my bank, and the bank said, no, we don't have any charge. So be careful to answer anyone who calls, just call your bank.
That's right. Yeah, so, and where you get the telephone number from the bank is important. Okay, so I would find the telephone number, whether it's a bank statement or something like that they've mailed to you previously, get the number from there, rather than rely on, the number that they just called you from. So in that example, if she had hung up the phone and then called that number back, and if that were a bad guy, she'd be, again, on the phone with the bad guy at that point. So, absolutely great question.
Yeah,
spam, I mean, I have three accounts, email accounts, and get spam every day, between 10 and 50 messages go directly to the spam. But I know that I get also spam that doesn't go into that. And even though I have things labeled as spam, they still filter in. So maybe there is some kind of setting that needs to be enhanced somehow.
And it's different.
The problem is that, I mean, even sometimes you may get a real message going into your spam account, so you may have to kind of scroll through and see, well, this is, you know, the same thing that it's coming 20 times. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, spam is definitely tricky, and Jakob, you're not the only one who deals. I mean, we all deal with the spam problem, right? So, and the folks who send the spam emails, they're very creative on how to make that email land in your inbox and not in your spam folder. One thing that I'll say is that, so if you block one sender that's coming from a particular address, they may kind of alter that address slightly, and then the next time that they send it, although visibly to you it looks like it's the same address, but an L may be an I, for example. Okay, so change it slightly, visibly it looks the same, and now it's in your inbox. So just be aware of that as well. Any other questions? One more in the back.
On an audio message, you get a call from unknown caller. Avoid using the word yes, because they can record that and then go to another site and use your word yes to verify something.
That is true. I will kind of follow that one up with any unsolicited calls we should just be ignoring. We should be screening those calls, whether they're text messages or phone calls. Okay, screen them, let the caller leave the voicemail, okay, and then you can decide whether you're gonna call back or not. Okay, so all calls should really be screened. All right, anything else? Anyone else? No? Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.
All right, before we go on to the next person, I just want to piggyback off that for a quick second. So 2 weeks ago, Woodland Pond was visited by Adult Protective Services. Adult Protective Services. So this is the version of protective services that's for adults, not children. And that's the first time that's ever happened in Woodland Pond history. They were looking for a particular resident who someone had reported a concern about their cognition level because they got scammed, and they reported it to Adult Protective Services. The particular resident was not able to be reached at the time, but I met with the person from Adult Protective Services because I was interested in what was going on and wanted to know. So just a couple of things about that. I've learned a lot. She actually came back yesterday and we were able to meet with the resident. So Adult Protective Services, it turns out, oftentimes gets notified by banks or financial institutions if someone meets a certain age profile or certain profile, because they're not dealing with children, they're dealing with adults, and they get scammed. So I did not know that banks do that. So the woman that came, the investigator, was not able to, she's not permitted to say who reported to Adult Protective Services, because it could be a concerned family member, it could be a neighbor, it could be whomever. But I never thought that a bank or a banking institution might do that. So to make a very long story short, this is a cautionary tale. Because this individual resident, there had been an attempt to hack her bank accounts back in June. She picked up on it by reviewing her bank statements, okay? The fraud department at her bank didn't pick it up, her credit cards didn't pick it up. She picked it up by looking at her bank statements. And what happened was, it started with, or part of it was Zelle transactions, okay? So Zelle is one of many online cash transfer apps, and it's one of the ways that you can pay your bill to Woodland Pond electronically. But it's also one of the many ways that scammers are accessing your accounts. And she said initially she would get a Zelle transaction either going into her account or coming out of her account for a penny or $1. And she didn't really think anything of it because she was a Zelle user. And then it just grew and grew to the point where the attempts on her account got to close to $30,000. Now, she does her primary banking with one of the larger national banks. But I know that a lot of our local banks and Sawyer Bank also have a lot of these different types of monitoring and protections on them. So just a few things to keep in mind. This is a massive, massive industry. And there are people, probably 1 million people or more worldwide, that are literally just trying to run scams. But one of the most important things, and I'm sure you all realize this, but I'm gonna say it out loud, your population and your demographic, which is financially comfortable, technology savvy seniors, is the #1 target for scammers of all types of populations of attempts at scamming. So you might have filled out a survey 10 years ago on the back of a Kellogg's box or something that gave your household income, thinking they're just doing their research. That information has gone into a database somewhere, so someone knows what your net worth is. And someone knows that you're an online user, and they are just trying to hack you. And they're doing things like, they'll just take your first initial, last name, and your birth year and attempt an email address, because a lot of people use that. They're very, very, very savvy. So to the point, make sure that all of your fraud protections are turned on with every banking institution and with every credit card. That is low-hanging fruit. You can initiate that. You can do that by calling the bank or checking with your credit cards. Make sure you're looking at your statements. Come to us. This resident didn't realize that Woodland Pond could be helpful. She was comfortable in talking to her family about it, but the Adult Protective Services woman yesterday said a lot of people are embarrassed to tell their families or to tell others. If you are in this situation and you feel any level of guilt or embarrassment or fear, and you don't want to talk to your loved ones, come to us. We will help you as best we can. We are here to help with this, and you are a target. So you have a role to play, we can play a role, but now there's a whole slew of protections coming in from Adult Protective Services for this reason. I just thought I would mention that. Okay?
Hi, good morning, Tom Tango, Director of Plant Operations. It's always morning in maintenance. All right, a couple things. The flex rooms downstairs. I guess there's been somebody raised a point or a comment that there is no air changes and the ventilation is harmful. It's wrong. The ventilation rates and the air conditioning down in the flex space is better than it was when the building was new. The unit that serves that space, it also served a server room, and we've since divided that off, so that the space that's down there for flex spaces, the air conditioning and heating, along with the ventilation rates, are better than as designed, so that it's 100% working. Now, if a particular person feels warm or feels cold, this is going to be shocking, but at Woodland Pond, that's a hard thing to accomplish. If I have 3 people in a room, I have 4 desired temperatures. But if you're uncomfortable in that room, then talk to Matt if you're doing workout, or talk to somebody, your concierge. But 1,000%, the unit is, everything down there is good. And I would just mention to anybody, if anybody has any concerns about anything like that, throughout the entire facility, let's not spread rumors. Just come talk to people and ask questions. All right, but 1,000%, everything's great. Same thing with fire egress. I know people have raised the concern, and which Ralph is here somewhere. Ralph had a good point. I didn't have the evac routes up on there, and I do now. So if you're in the flex space, we have it. Also, while I'm talking, I just want to mention something about evacuation, whether it be out of the flex space or with the door closed. We brought the fire chief in a few years ago to explain to everybody that the likelihood of having to evacuate is not great. In other words, the problem is everybody went through school where you were in high school and you did fire drills and it took everybody outside when there was a fire alarm. And for them, that was great, but this is a fully sprinklered building. So if we were sitting here right now in the great room and there's a fire in Michelle's office, it doesn't impact us. We would still stay here. If we were in Michelle's office, we would evacuate. But if we're sitting right here right now, we're not going to evacuate. So while there's a lot of concerns over evacuation routes, and that's great, and we are 1,000% compliant, I do just want to reiterate that, we're not necessarily going to evacuate every time there's an issue. That's all. Couple other things Dave mentioned on Monday, or not Dave, I think Dave did too, but Jason, we're going to be moving concierge on Monday. It's going to come out a bit from where it is. So there'll be a few hours on Monday where, you got to look around to see where concierge is going to be. It might be on a table, then it might go back to where it is. So, and then, so there'll be things happening there on Monday for that. Same thing with the salon. We moved the salon. The salon had to move, so we relocated it up into 461 to where the guest suite is. And Sharon will be in business up there tomorrow. Wait till I get done, then we'll go do some questions. So that'll be in there tomorrow. It's gonna snow this weekend, again. I want to thank everybody for the cooperation we received so far this year with vacating the one section of the northernmost section of the health center parking lot. Because if we keep that lot right out here clear while it's snowing, it lets the snow guys keep it clear, and then as soon as the snow stops, there's parking spaces to go to. And you probably noticed right now, parking spaces are at a premium in this whole place. So that works out great. The last couple storms, to include the one just the other day, the snow guys, for some reason, did a terrible job clearing snow off of cars. I agree. That's been addressed, I think, and you're gonna see it different this coming storm. For some reason, they must hire snow guys that are this tall. And they clear the snow really well to a certain point. And like they said, well, Tom, we just left snow on some big SUVs. You left snow on Subarus. I mean, it's right here. I mean, yeah, some of Jason's vans, okay. But don't leave snow on Subaru roofs. So that's been addressed. So they'll be doing that. Also, while I'm talking about the snow on cars, in the contract with the snow vendor, they have 24 hours from when the snow stops to clear the cars. Traditionally, they just do it while they're here. But according to contract, the snow can stop, they could go home and come back 23 hours from now and do the cars. They usually don't, and which is okay. And like I tell everybody, if in that time your car isn't cleared, but you need to go somewhere, call concierge, call reception, and we'll come do it. So it doesn't matter if the contractor has cleared your car or not. We'll do it. Call us, and we'll take care of it. And that's 24 hours a day, we'll do it. Then I'll talk about the library door, but Dave already did. The library door will be closed. And that was with a pretty detailed plan. And, that'll be fine for like 4 weeks. That being said, questions? Yakov?
There is a label. I think we had discussed like a year ago that there will be a label what the temperature should be in each room. Is that already in the flex? So
Probably
people
not,
don't
no.
call you
It is in all other rooms, right? But I don't think it is in the flex room. Let me look into that.
There's one right here, you can photocopy it.
No, I know, yes.
Here.
We got them.
See the green label on there?
Tom, what's happening with the new automatic doors in the back of the north and south wings?
That's a Jason question, but I know, there was a question about the guy getting here a couple times, and I'm gonna go on a limb. I think the snow delayed him last time, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he had a problem last Thursday, and then I thought he was supposed to come
Yeah.
yesterday, but he didn't. So
Yeah.
we'll get information about that out in the Chanticleer, but it's
Yep.
approved and it's a 1 or 2 day project.
That's it? No other questions? All right, I will, pass it over to, also, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pass it over to Grandpa Rob. Rob became the grandpa this morning.
Thank you very much. Adeline Murphy was born at 8:12 this morning. My daughter was scheduled for a C-section next week when I was supposed to be there, but obviously my daughter and Addie couldn't wait, so they came this morning. So thank you for that, and they're both doing well, and they'll actually be home tomorrow already. So things went really well for both of them, so appreciate that. 2 announcements for me, or 1 announcement for me. I know last time we talked about annual cleanings. We finished them all last year, so basically it's January, we're starting over. I know Carrie has already 23, I think, scheduled already, so she's not really messing around. We're basically starting from scratch, and we gotta reschedule everybody for the, going forward. And we try and schedule 1 or 2 months out to try and get you scheduled. So if you were done in, the January to March area, and you wanna get it scheduled, give Carrie a call and we'll get that scheduled for you. Sometimes with this kind of weather and what's happening, it's tough to do the porches, and then we'll come revisit you in the spring when it's a little bit warmer and you don't have a foot of snow, hopefully, on your porch. So we can clean that a little bit better, because we like to scrub the floor, get the walls and whatever else. Any questions for me?
My neighbor moved out, well, she didn't have much choice anyway. There has been, for the last 2.5 weeks, a huge stack of cardboard boxes and a big garbage can blocking the hall. And I put in a work order for this and nothing has been done. Couldn't they at least put it inside the empty apartment?
They should. If a family is working on that particular room, yes, everything should be kept in and not in the hallway.
No one's been working on it at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
All right.
What hallway is it?
6 North.
All right, we'll take a look at it today and get it cleaned up and visit that issue. Yeah, if you see something, even if it's for a day, don't let it go long. Just give us a call and we'll take care of it, or we might know something that's going on there that, maybe need to be taken care of, but don't let it go so long. Just give me a call the next day and Carrie and I will figure it out. Just so you are aware, I will go visit my granddaughter and my daughter. She'd kill me if I didn't say I was visiting her. So I will be off the next 2 weeks and a day or so. So Carrie will be here. So if you have any questions, I'll forward everything in my phone to her, and or April will kind of take care of any issues you have in EDS. So I appreciate that. Okay. One more question on the way back?
Look at the steps in
Yeah.
there. I'll just comment, I think the sound in here is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Much better than the pack.
Yeah, in the future of spring, is the windows gonna be cleaned this spring?
We are scheduling the windows. We don't do windows in the spring because the amount of pollen that we get around here. So usually I have it planned, I think it's August, somewhere around the beginning of August with the window company, we have that scheduled.
That's true.
Okay, so we wait till all the green muck goes away and then we have them come in and do it. But yes, we are scheduled for windows this year.
I have windows on my porch.
Correct.
What is the price range of having them cleaned? Because I've never been.
I will ask him because it's been a while. They really didn't want to touch that. I know the last window company did at a pretty low price, but some of the windows are challenging. And I'll ask the current window company and get back to you like what their estimate will be. Because I don't think they didn't do any porch windows the last time through. Because it's something they just didn't want responsibility for. But I'll talk to them and see if that's something they're willing to do this
Yeah,
time.
we talked before, you and I.
Yeah.
About that situation.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been cleaned since I've been there 14 years.
Right, it's
Because
more,
they can't get to it.
they can't get to them, and you know, and you don't wanna try and damage the window while trying to get to something, just, you know, to get it cleaned. It's a poor design, but it's just, that's what we're dealing with.
I tried to take one, I did get one of the windows out.
Yeah, and
But
that's
then
where you
the problem
start.
was I couldn't get it back in.
Yeah, right. And we don't wanna be doing that. We don't wanna compromise anything on that porch, you know? If you're gonna, you know, if we're gonna do something, I'd have Tom Tango look at it first before we're gonna touch anything like that. I wouldn't want a contractor doing that or compromising anything of the structures around
Right.
here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I'll follow up with you, Vivian, once I
Okay.
talk to them.
Be nice to me, you don't have a big high price on it to be done.
Yeah, it is up to them. I think it depends on how many people want their glass porches done, because like I said, I don't know the total amount that we have here, but if there's enough, they might cut a price, but if it's only 2 or 3 of you, I don't know. I'd have to ask them, but I'll reach out to Ken.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so are you done?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, congratulations on the baby.
Thank you.
As we're switching to Cameron, I will say, I feel like I just got shamed, because when you said your windows haven't been washed since you moved in 14 years ago, several of you made like a yucky face. I've never washed the windows in my house, and I've been in this house for 10 years, and in the prior house, I was there for 10 years, and I never washed those windows either. So apparently you're supposed to wash the windows a little more than just when God intends by the rain. All right, we're gonna table the discussion about the health center beds, because we are running out of time, Cameron's got stuff to do. We'll figure out a time to set time to talk about that. We don't have quite an answer yet anyway, so. Yeah, why don't you talk about all your stuff?
Hi everyone, my name is Cameron Reale. I am the Chief Operating Officer. Just a few quick points for me. We have Sarah Leonard returning back to us already in just a few short weeks on February 9th. So we're very excited to welcome her back. She will be in the same vicinity downstairs as Michelle and I, and also Annika and Liz. So you'll be able to see where she will be, but she also will be available to you in your apartments and around the community as well. So Sarah will be taking over her position back to her full capacity, and we'll kind of talk about the way that things are operating in terms of with her and Annika and Liz, and kind of go from there. Speaking of that, something that Michelle has touched on in the past with her talks, and I believe also in the Chanticleer to some extent, is the implementation of our new resident assistance program in independent living. I know Michelle mentioned that she'll be talking about the health center beds at a later date, but just to quickly touch on it, the resident assistance program in independent living is a strategy for us to be able to care for residents in independent living as long as we are able to keep you safe in independent living. What this means is we as Woodland Pond have hired some resident assistants that will be available at the discretion of our health and wellness department to assist you in day-to-day needs as they arise. Where this predominantly will be seen is from discharges from the hospital, discharges from skilled nursing back to independent living, helping with some day-to-day things that are not in need of the qualifications for a nurse or a skilled aide or therapist, but more so day-to-day tasks in your apartment, maybe some things that are outside of what the housekeeping crew is able to do, meal help, organization, things that are available to you on a short-term basis, with the idea that it is a gradual program that is on a temporary basis that you can then graduate from. This is something that we are trialing and kind of just getting our feet wet with, but has been successful with the few residents that we've had come back to us. And we're really fortunate to have who we have. So currently we have Vicki Baker with us. You may be familiar with her from Concierge and Reception. So she's been helping us over the past few weeks, and we will continue to grow that per diem staff and have the resources available to you. So just so you know, this is something that is at the cost of Woodland Pond, not you personally. And then my last quick update is that starting the last weekend in February, our manager on duty schedule for our executive leadership team will be incorporating a weekend on schedule. So what this means is we currently have a week-to-week manager on duty schedule. So if I'm manager on duty, my duty starts Monday and it ends the following Sunday evening, or rather Monday morning, so it's a full 7-day rotation. Then that next person picks up their schedule that Monday. So that means that that Saturday and Sunday that we have scheduled as our manager on duty shift, you will expect an executive person to be here on site on that Saturday and Sunday. So what will happen is we will work that Saturday and Sunday and then likely take a few days off in the surrounding weeks. The purpose of doing this is just to have somebody on site, make sure that we're here to answer any questions, be of any help of any type of emergency or not so much emergency, and just kind of be a helping hand as we're able. Those are my 3 quick updates. Anybody have any questions?
Where are you physically when you're on site?
So Joy's question was, where are you physically on site? We have not determined that, something that we will be expecting, and of course this is true with the renovation. We will figure that out and we'll let everybody know. But the idea is that this person will be accessible for residents to come see, and also will be active and around the community to, just be a friendly face. Anyone else? Rolf?
Will that be 24/7 that you're on duty?
So we are manager on duty 24/7 for that 7-day period.
Yeah.
So there always is somebody on call 24/7. Outside of our day-to-day tasks that we have within our own departments as it stands. But when we are manager on duty, the idea is that you are on duty for 24 hours each day, so 7 days straight. However, the Saturday and Sunday on site is what will just be changing. Okay. Anybody else?
But they won't be physically here.
Okay. Great. Sorry.
I think just to go a little bit further, I'm Bridget Blum, Director of Human Resources. To Ralph's question, it will be during what we define as our normal business hours on that Saturday and Sunday that will be present on site. So the responsibility for the manager on duty will be 24 hours of that weekend. The presence on site is just what we determine to be our normal business hours. So I am, and the Human Resources Department is settling nicely into our new accommodations down on the ground floor. I call it ground floor north near the loading dock. So we've already had some folks come down and visit. Thank you to those people who did. They're, definitely been complimentary of the space and what we have down there. So it's nice, and I just want to extend on behalf of Christy and myself, we thanked the facilities and maintenance team. They worked incredibly well together and quickly to get us transitioned over to the new space. And those teams have really just been hustling every single day with all of these moves, and they're doing a phenomenal job. So thank you publicly to all of you. I know that it's helpful to, have so many people willing to help and get it done quickly to lessen the disturbance and whatnot. So, good things to come. Come downstairs. Don't be shy. I hate the word basement. It just feels cold and scary. So I try to say lower level, downstairs, those kinds of things, ground floor. But come visit, and you're gonna find a lot more of us down there soon. Any questions?
No, it's fine. I don't really have much. I just went through an extensive amount on my weekly address on Tuesday. I just want to acknowledge, just while we're all together in the room, our team certainly has been feeling this acutely. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling it. Things feel particularly hectic and a little bit unsettled, and I just want to acknowledge that. So we're here to support you. We're trying to make changes, even if temporary, just to kind of help make sure that the community feels supported, that we're around, that we're allocating staff for you. Annika is actually adding another day full-time to her schedule. So rather than 3 days a week, she's gonna be going to 4 days a week starting next week, and that's a permanent change. So we're really trying to put those resources in place to where we can hope that we can kind of keep the temperature down a little bit. I just want everybody to try to keep in mind that as hectic as everything seems, we are making fast progress. And it's within the next 6 weeks-ish that the first new places will start to turn over. So we'll see the bank and the mailroom coming online within the next 6 to 8 weeks, and then things will start to quickly open again thereafter. So I know it's been a lot of anticipation, a lot of discussion, but we're actually really making fast progress. So I appreciate personally the speed and the dedication with which the team in general is working on the project, and I don't want anyone to have any concerns about the fact that maybe expediency is impacting quality of the performance of the work, because one of the things that we've paid a premium for is to ensure that we have extra levels of testing, certification, and review on site. So there's an enormous amount of, every time an aspect of the project is getting completed, the architects are flying in from Milwaukee, the civil engineers are coming and testing all the things that they need to test, make sure that they're certified, so independent eyes on everything. This is exactly how we want to be. Right now we're probably a little bit ahead of schedule. We got great news from the construction manager last week that they're really anticipating significant savings on the buyout of the project, which basically means what they're able to get the bids in for. So we're feeling good about it, but I do understand that things feel a little bit frenetic, and it's okay to talk to each other about that, talk to us about it. We're talking to each other about it all the time. And I just wanted to mention that before we break from today. Anybody have anything for me? Okay, you're excused. Thank you for coming.
Back to the front line.